GA Dog, Rule 144 explained. So GA Dogs asked the question because this G. Kin takes a 9 million share position in NCTY. And GA Dog asked the question, is his hold period 90 days or 6 months before he can sell? So there's a couple of things that we would have to determine before when or if he can ever sell. Now, 90 days is not the number, but 6 months would be the number under certain circumstances. So the guy takes a probably private placement, and he, if he's an affiliate, he's subject to different restrictions from selling than are people that just maybe take a private placement but are less than 10, and the other rule less than 5%. If you're a less than 10% shareholder, then you're a non-affiliate. And if your stock is restricted stock when you buy it, it hasn't been registered, then one of two things has to happen. You either have to have you either have to get the stock registered, where they file a form S1, S2, S3, S8, and your stock can become free trading. They can remove the restrictive legend on it once that document is filed and approved by the SEC. If there's no registration statement filed, then you need to have an exemption from registration. And the typical typical form or the typical rule for an exemption from registration to sell your stock is Rule 144. And after Rule 144 states that after 6 months you can deposit the stock into a brokerage firm, and the restrictive legend would be removed, and you can sell the stock. But if after 90 days, 30 days, after 30 days you have not sold the stock, then the restriction is placed back on the shares, and you then have to refile Form 144. So brokers are a bit reluctant. I mean, so you basically, after 6 months you put it into the broker, you have to sell all your stock. Because otherwise the broker is going to charge you money every time they've got to take it in and out. It's probably a $500 charge. So under Rule 144, and then after 1 year, then the stock becomes free trading, and the restrictive legend can be removed without any restrictions on it, and that's an exemption from registration. But now the problem is, if you're an affiliate, which is greater than 10% or greater, you're always subject to selling restrictions, and so every time you tried to sell the stock, if it's not registered, now if it's registered on S1, 2, 3, or 8, then there is no affiliate rule. The stock is registered; you can sell it at your but you have to report it, obviously. Every time you make a trade within, I think it's 5 days, you have to file your Form 4, showing the world that you're disclosing that you've sold or bought stock. And but if it's registered, you're under no selling restrictions. But if the stock is restricted and has not been registered on Form 1, 2, 3, or 8, then you're always subject to Rule 144. Your exemption are not subject to Rule 144. Your only exemption to sell that stock is subject to Rule 144. And so you would have the same, you can't sell more than 1% of the volume per day. Yeah, I think it's you can't be more than 1% of the volume per day in a 30-day period. I can't remember exactly what it is, but suffice it to say that if you are an insider and your stock's not registered, you're always subject to you need to find an exemption from registration. The main one is Rule 144, and it's not removed. Your restriction's not removed after 6 months or 12 months.